Here we are.
You have too much fun with that,
Johnny. What do you think? Here we
are. You have too much fun with that.
Man, I love it. The holiday show is here, the final show of 2021. And our guest today is the redhead recruiter or the redhead Rudolph, whatever you want to call her today, right? Destiny, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Excellent.
In the mood. We are in the mood, right, John?
That's right. You got your stocking hanging on the mantle behind you.
Oh, it's yeah, I can't wait. After this, it's all celebration all the way up till 2022. But yeah, we want to have this final show. We have a couple other guests might be popping in and out. We know a lot of people are off this week shopping, but we are still here doing some live shows. So hey, Clark, we're just going to get into it because this is Santa Jobs here. You know, I'm bringing jobs to everybody across the nation. Ho, ho, ho. I'm getting this down pretty good, John.
Santa, I'm waiting for my bonus check. It hasn't come yet.
Well, you know what you're getting, the Jelly of the Month Club,
Jelly of
brother.
the Month, the gift that keeps on giving.
Oh, my. But before we even do any little holiday fun, let's just jump into like 2021 recap. We've done it all month, but let's one more time, give it a shot. And all I can say, John, it's been a year of ups and downs and all around. So what do you give me a little recap of what you think, and then we'll jump in it with Destiny.
You know, it's been ups and downs, but for us, all of us in the business, I think we can safely say it's been up. I mean, it's been a busy year, but it's been a fruitful year. You know, knock on wood. It's been great. Companies need us more than ever to find talent. It's been a crazy year and didn't make recruiting any easier, but our services were they continue to be in high demand, and I don't see that slowing down. So, you know, the pandemic created all kinds of vacancies and opportunities. And, you know, for the staffing industry, lots of people going back to work at record levels, and, very interesting pay packages being given out. People companies fighting to retain people, but, and the candidates, feeling more empowered than ever. So it's been a good year for the employment sector, so to speak. We still have a long way to go, but yeah, 2021 was a thumbs up.
Well, real quick, that long way, that means we are going to have a job forever, right? In staffing.
If you're a good recruiter, and I'd like to think that the three of us on this program are, if you know how to do it right, and you care about your candidates and you care about your clients, then yes, you will have a long future in recruiting. If you're in it for the quick haul and the quick payday, and you don't care about how you treat people, and you're just worried about the transaction, well, I don't care what kind of climate you're working in, you're not going to be around long.
You're right. So what do you think, redhead recruiter? I love the tag name, don't you, John?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely opened our doors because we're medical, so they need nurses now more than ever. So the positions that have gone into play, I agree, the amounts that they're offering right now are through the roof. But yeah, I mean, it's been a great year. Actually, it's been a great couple of months. The last 3 or 4 months have been just out of the water compared to the rest of the year. I mean, we've probably doubled our numbers in recruiting and everything like that, bringing people through the door, getting people jobs. So it's definitely been really good the last couple of months. But even in the last year, it's been phenomenal. Yeah, we've been doing really well. So people definitely need nurses. I mean, they're in high demand right now. So
absolutely. Yeah,
exactly. And I love what the redhead recruiter, because I've met with them a couple of times. Every time we go up there, we have excitement, and we do videos, of course. And I walk in the door let's go. They put me to work every time I'm up there, John. But I think the thing with Destiny and a lot of other recruiters, she's adapting to the situation we have now. She's out there doing the social media. She's out there having fun with it. And that old school of sitting there, clicking the button, it's gone away. It's like a lump of coal right now. It's gone away.
Well, it's part of the process, but it can't be the only part of the process. So kudos to you, Destiny, for going beyond that. Yeah, social media has become huge, especially in the healthcare world. Nurses love social media. So Instagram, Facebook, there's a lot of conversations to get involved with there. And, by engaging in with them, I think, and you can tell me your thoughts on this, Destiny, but I find recruiters have more success engaging with them and kind of empathizing and figuring out what's going on in their world, as opposed to just going for the jugular and trying to pitch a job to them, getting to know them first. What are you seeing?
Yeah, so a big thing for, I know Denise and I, is that we are solely on the travel sites and stuff because we're starting to get into travel at the beginning of the year. But we've been on the travel Facebook sites for the last year. So what we've been doing is observing and seeing, okay, because, and I'm going to be frank, people go on there and they'll comment and they'll kind of tear
They're
some
honest.
people up on there. Yes, they're
Oh,
very
yeah.
honest. Yes. So, making sure that, we're seeing that all ahead of time. So then when we propose our jobs, we know how to attract the right candidates and attract people and know exactly what they're looking for because we've been observing it for the last year. So we're definitely have gained a lot of knowledge over the last year, definitely just observing, really seeing what other recruiters are putting up because
Smart.
they're on there at all times. So, seeing other recruiters, what they're posting, where they're posting from, what states they're posting from, how they're presenting it. Are they presenting it just in a post? Are they creating like a picture with it? If it's in Hawaii, are they putting a sunset behind it and then adding it in there? So definitely, for Pennsylvania, kind of just put some cows and maybe like nice pretty sunset on a farm.
Come on now. Or a terrible towel for you're in Pittsburgh. You're guaranteed to get everybody then.
Right,
exactly. So, we can definitely liven up everything that we're posting by observing what others post. So,
You're really smart. You're really smart to do that. And that's one of the little things that can go a long way, and that a lot of, not just recruiters, a lot of people don't have the patience for, is to actually study and learn. They want we're in this age of immediate gratification where if they can't get it now, they don't want to put any effort into it. So by doing that, that should pay good dividends in 2022 because you've really learned the lay of the land and can effectively interact with a good candidate base for you next year. And they get to know you because you're so in tune with them. So I think there's a level of respect that goes with that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So true, Clark. So true. And then Santa Jobs over here wants to say one thing, that you got to get to know the job seekers. And when you learn all that data and you do research with them and document that, the rest is history. I mean, I know that we all talk about, we need to get job seekers and engage. And Clark, I got to say Clark all the time, man, because I'll be Santa Jobs or Cousin Eddie, whatever you want me to be. But but I think really we have to really understand this, that the job seekers have all the information we need. Every time you meet somebody and you talk to them and you hire them or you don't, ask them, how'd you find me? What made you click? That's what I've done the last 2 years. And then I know how to get my audience, and it's amazing, John and Destiny, or Redhead Recruiter, whatever we're going to call her today. But it's amazing if you learn from them how more successful you can be. I think this day and age we are with the recruiters, or you can call yourself a job agent or whatever. You really have to, we have a new person coming aboard.
Whoa.
Look who it is.
Hey.
Hi, everybody.
What's up, Beth?
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
All right. Well, I was on a meeting and just got off and saw Richard's invite, so here I am.
Nice.
Busy,
Thanks for joining.
Oh my goodness. Does it ever slow down, right?
No, we were just talking about that.
Never. But we were just finishing up real quick on this, Beth, is, you got to learn from the job seeker. And I think the same thing because you have the same models we all do. We have to learn from them so we can adapt, so we can attract a good audience. But that's about it on that. But Beth, welcome aboard, and tell us a little bit about what's going on in your neck of the woods here for the holidays.
Well, some of you may know that not only do I recruit in the higher education and you okay? Can you hear me?
Yep, you're okay. You're back.
Loud and clear.
Okay, sorry. I know it was kind of dragging a little bit when I first got on, but anyway, yeah. So you guys may know that I recruit in the higher ed industry. So I place campus deans, campus presidents, all positions, and upwards into regional. But I also recruit in the healthcare industry, meaning, for facilities and sometimes doctors' offices, clinics, those kinds of things. My goodness, are there so many jobs out there or what? And, I just want to give a shout out to our healthcare heroes. They are dealing with so much right now. I mean, this COVID, this variant, this Omicron, if I'm saying that correctly, beds are just, at a minimum, if at all. I mean, they had to stop elective surgeries. One of the biggest hospitals in our state, Cleveland Clinic, they don't have any beds left. I mean, they're
Wow.
being occupied by about 90% by non-vaccinated people. And they're on ventilators, many of them. It's just our healthcare workers are unfortunately totally burned out, but understandably so, right? And they're leaving in droves. I mean, there's so many positions that need filled. I know on the higher education side, and I deal mainly with nursing colleges, boy, are those enrollments high right now, because there's so many people out there. This has some kind of a domino effect that want to be nurses now, that want to step up to the plate and help folks.
That's
And
great to hear.
you probably know this, Clark Griswold, right?
Well,
That
it's
from
great to
your
hear that the
health
enrollments
trust
are up.
work, that-
Yeah. Because for the
yeah,
longest
yeah,
time,
that's good for
you
me
know, we
too,
weren't,
because exactly. Right.
didn't mean to
And
cut you off.
I'm recruiting for faculty and program directors and deans of nursing. And I just read an article that a lot of the healthcare workers in facilities that are so burned out from COVID and having to work, 24/7, it seems, are going into higher education. They're going into teaching and managing nursing programs particularly. So, that helps me on one side, but then there's the other side that I can't find enough candidates to fill in the healthcare jobs.
And so many nurses, and you're probably seeing this. It's interesting. We staff primarily acute care facilities, so we don't staff the doctor's offices. But there's a lot of nurses that have been in acute care that want to stay in nursing, but they no longer want to be bedside, and they've had enough of that. So opportunities to go into standalone clinics or doctor's offices or teaching, or even other types of opportunities that they can keep their RN license, but just not do it in a bedside manner. We're seeing that too. So it's you got people leaving. Again, it's great to hear enrollment is up, because for years that was part of the challenge, was that there weren't enough nursing graduates coming into the fold. So that's encouraging that in the coming years that we'll have more. I know we have an apprenticeship program that we operate called Star N.
In addition, yes.
Sorry.
I was going to say, in addition to that,
you're on.
You're on, Beth. Go for it.
My internet's kind of stagnant or
I'll be
whatever.
like this, John.
But
I'm going to
anyway.
tab. You're in.
I just want to mention that in addition to more enrollments, more colleges are stepping up and opening new nursing programs. I have one up near Toledo, Ohio, that I'm looking for right now for a dean of nursing to start a new RN program. They have an LPN program that's very successful, in place for a long time now, but I've been looking for somebody for that position. And,
Wow.
they just need to have 2 years administration experience overseeing ADN or Associate Degree of Nursing programs. They have to, of course, have teaching experience as well, and then MSN, a Master's of Nursing Science. But that's happening too with higher ed, as they're adding nursing programs or starting new higher level programs like BSN, as well as MSN and DPN programs. So it's helping the industry. Mm-hmm.
And it's just not in that industry too. I mean, I'm finding truck driving now. I mean, I support the truck drivers, and we don't have enough of them out there. I mean, it's almost like every sector now, manufacturing, logistics, they're all suffering for talent right now. And I think, Beth, before you came on, we talked about 2021 to recap. The biggest change is people are holding out till they find a job they want now. They're not just jumping aboard, and that's all filled,
right.
And I believe, you guys are experts on this because you're all three in healthcare, and I'm not. I'm the one left out here, right? Cousin Eddie's in the light industrial, which is great. That's why I got gray hair. But all joking aside, it's we have to understand here that so many of these workers, they are not going to just take the first job. So we have to be patient with them. I think that's the biggest thing for 2022. We're going to see a lot more of this, where they're just going to hold out till they find the right job.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're going to be patient, and companies have to be, if they want to get them, they have to be quick to act, because they don't want indecisive companies either. It's not,
right.
Oh, let's see what else we have out there. If you find the right person, you better go after them and give them a really competitive offer and a package to come on board with you. Otherwise, they won't hesitate to continue to go on to the next step.
Exactly. And if you work with companies like that and they drag their feet, as a staffing firm, you're going to have to say sooner or later, you're going to start losing everybody that you submit. So you're going to have to decide, you got to hold them or fold them, like Kenny Rogers says, So.
Well, you just won't work with those companies, because
I've experienced that. Have you experienced that too, where these healthcare workers want X amount of money or they won't budge? And employers need to understand that. And I'm struggling with that right now. Sometimes it's all about salary, and we know that really shouldn't be the case, but we know bottom line, it usually is.
Well, especially if you're in the travel nursing sector where, they know they can make that nice tax-free money with the stipends. Some of them a lot of them have left staff positions to go into travel nursing for the financial reasons. And that's going to be part of it. More than likely, I think the majority of the candidates still do it for some sort of lifestyle reason. And those are the ones you want to work with. And we've been, very direct with folks when they come in saying, oh, I want $10,000 a week, which maybe in some hotbed you can get,
right.
But, we just can't compete with that. And we'll find out, what's of interest to them and try and stay in touch with them in the hope that down the road we can offer them something that is of interest to them. But, we're like, okay, well, we can't offer you that. So if you have it on the table now from someone else, our advice is to take it. Now, granted, the flip side of that is, and that, again, I don't think that it matters. They might go on a 13-week contract at $8,000 a week, but then 3 weeks into it, the hospital cuts them because they don't need them anymore. Some nurses will take the 3 weeks at $8,000 a week. And then just, because they know they can find another role and another contract pretty easily if they're employed and they're good at what they do. So it is a challenge. But, you try not to get into bidding wars. But at the end of the day, to your point, Richard, it's, you've got to listen to what the candidate wants and what's driving them and what's most important. And then hopefully present them opportunities that fall in line with those.
Exactly right. And I think another thing for 2021 that we all can discuss real quick is the rates have went up. I've never seen this before in my life, go from 14 to 22 overnight. But there's one key thing 2021 taught us: work-life balance too. Money's not everything, but it's jumping up. But that work-life balance of 40 hours and I'm out. What do you guys think?
I agree with that, Richard. And in addition to that too, what I'm seeing are more and more candidates asking for remote opportunities. I just don't have those. And I think it's because they got into that groove when COVID first went down, when everybody was able to stay home, right? And they don't want, and that's part of work-life balance, isn't it? Because they're able to stay home. I know my son, for example, he works for a business that is an online pet treat and toy business for dogs. And none of them are going back to work. They just don't want them to be safe. They're all successfully working from home. He had to oversee his little preschooler because all the daycares were closed, right? And some of them have opened up, but they are closing. Like his particular preschool has had COVID within the school, whether it be an adult or a child, and they have to close it down for 10 days because of the quarantine thing. That's how long, they recommend that they quarantine. And so my little grandson can't, doesn't have anywhere to go. So he has to stay home with his daddy who works from home, thank God, right? So I think a lot of people see that with their children too, and they're afraid to put their kids back in a daycare situation. So they want these remote jobs for that reason, and then other reasons as well.
Agreed.
Exactly. And I think remotes, it's never going away, but I think 2022 is going to be more remote. Just, I hate to say now, the virus is picking up again. So we're going to be almost back to where we were last year. So I look, and Joe probably agrees with this, a lot of companies are going to downsize now. Once their lease is up, they're out. They're not going to renew leases. I don't know. In Pittsburgh, we have so many signs of big buildings now leasing. The whole building's like empty.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen the end of that. Commercial real estate is going to still take a big hit in the future because you still had some leases that were active. As they come due, I agree with you, Richard. Companies might choose to have a home base and an office, but they probably won't need nearly the amount of space they have now because of that. And this is something that, again, you're absolutely right, Beth, in the sense that they got used to working remotely with COVID. And what they learned was that they could do the work remotely and companies could exist and the job was getting done. The work was getting done. And now they're like, okay, well, I don't want to go back to the office, or in certain cases with child situations, I can't go back to the office.
Right.
So if their current employer won't be flexible, then they will leave and find someone else that will be flexible. And that's going to, again, I think that's going to continually turn over. There are some people that still are from the old school that believe that, oh, we're going to all be back at the office, next year. And I don't think that's the case. I think if you're a company that does that, and curious to what you guys think, I think you stand you run the risk of losing people more than you run the risk of gaining people.
Sure thing. What do you think, Destiny?
No, yeah, I mean, for us, it's a little different, but I mean, we've definitely hired internal people who the first question they asked is this position remote? And unfortunately, we don't even do really remote interviews for our nurses right now. We're doing still in-person interviews for our nurses. So, everything's in person. We've worked the whole way through the pandemic. We were in-house the whole time. So, it's definitely harder when you're hiring internal positions. But, for our nurses, it's, there's RNs who have definitely asked, is this a remote position? Because they're looking for that too. It doesn't matter what their discipline is or where they work. They want something that's going to be flexible for, their work life and their family. And, nurses have children and their moms and their dads, so they got to take care of their kids before they work.
Mm-hmm. One thing I want to throw out there for the group to discuss, that's been a heavy topic of late on our end. We're starting to really look at it across the board with the industry, is how are companies maintaining or establishing a culture nowadays? You don't have that camaraderie, the folks to feed off the energy of each other and create that atmosphere in the office, because you've got that fabricated workforce that's half in, half out. Do you think it's harder to keep a cohesive culture and to build one? And could companies end up having cultural shifts in the future?
Well, John, I'll jump on real quick. I think the virtual, culture is there now. I think avatars and stuff like that, they're going to have that more. Next year, we're going to be seeing myself like a cartoon character walking around you. I mean, we seen it at Staffing World 2 years ago. I mean, the avatar is going to be there. I think that's going to be the work-life culture. You might meet every quarter for like bowling or something, and that's it. And I really think people's going to adapt to that and like it. I really think at the end of the day, they're going to like that the more they get comfortable with working from home. It's that IROC. Turn it on for a little bit, take it off, 8 hours, you work 6, the other 2 you cruise through, and you're set. What do you think, Beth?
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. I think there is going to be a big cultural shift, and I think there already is. I'm seeing that. And I hear from hiring managers internally and other recruiters maybe that I work with that are internal recruiters, that their companies actually do a lot of Zoom meetings, but then they also have a Zoom or a Teams meeting type of format where they just come in and maybe it's Friday afternoon cocktails or, Monday morning coffee, let's get our week started and maybe just chat, just kind of informally chat about their personal lives, maybe a little bit of business, but they're intended to just kind of let their employees see each other on that kind of social, informal level and communicate and interact, even though it is through Zoom or whatever. But, usually the Zoom meetings during the week are all about business. They're talking shop only, nothing personal involved, but they have these times to really network and enjoy each other. So I think that is they're attempting to do that so they can kind of maintain their culture that they had on ground.
And it's interesting, if you're a manager, if you got folks in the office, you can walk by someone's desk in the morning and say, "Hey, how was your weekend? What's going on? How's the family?" And unless you make a concerted effort when you're remote, that gets lost, and that's a huge negative to culture. I know that it's from a leadership perspective. The one-on-one meetings are uber critical when you have a remote workforce, and not one-on-one to talk shop. One-on-one is, hey, this is my time with you and what's going on in your life and in your world, because you're right, Beth, every meeting. And when you're remote, I mean, my gosh, it's like, okay, well, they're at home sitting in front of the computer, so I can, use up every time slot on their calendar, and it gets overwhelming sometimes. And it's all work, and you forget that, like as recruiters, we say, hey, you have to know the candidate as a person. Well, leaders have to know their people as people, not just as drones that are cranking out work. So I think that comes into play even more so when you got remote folks.
We shall see. It's going to be exciting. That's all I can say, right, John?
Absolutely. Hey, you know what? We love change. Change brings opportunity, and in our industry, as much as the fundamentals never go away, we always have to adapt. So it's a good thing.
Exactly.
Destiny, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Are you seeing a rise in? I know you're getting ready to jump into the travel nurse area, but are you seeing a higher demand for the techs, the CNAs, at that level because of the shortage of nurses? Have there been a higher demand for CNAs, LPNs of that level?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, honestly, there's even people out there who are not even worrying about if they're CNAs or not. They're like, we'll take a PCA just because we need someone to come and we need someone to work. So definitely, I mean, they're kind of at this point taking whoever they can who's willing to come to work, do the job accurately, take care of the people they're taking care of. And, they're not really necessarily worrying about titles at this point anymore. I mean, obviously for an LPN and an RN, you have to have had to go to school, certain, licenses and everything like that. But I mean, for their CNAs and PCAs, they're even taking medical assistants to work in assisted livings, long-term care, psychiatric units. I mean, yeah, they're kind of taking anyone at this point, and I think it's just mainly because they have so many jobs to fill and they don't have enough people to fill them.
Sure, and the RNs need the support. They need the help, so that that frees them up to do other things that they can't do while tending to the functions that a PCT or a CNA could do.
Right. Exactly.
So true. So our final one I'm going to talk about in 2021, this is the most exciting one ever. I think personal branding for recruiters and staffing is through the roof. As anybody knows, with me, I branded myself. The Redhead Recruiters branded herself. I think to make ourselves different. I love it. Remember the first time I said that, I said, "You're going to do that." And you're like, "No." Like, yes, you are. And look where she's at these days. But no, I think that's 2022 is going to be more like that. Just being another recruiter. Nobody cares who Richard Rosner is or John Ruffini. It's about making it something different. And the first thing is excitement.
I care who you are, Richard.
Excitement. Oh, thank you, John.
You're welcome.
But I really think that it's excitement and energy we have to bring to it. So get yourself a tag name, something. It's you. Don't chase somebody else, and just be yourself. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing in 2022 is branding yourself. I know companies brand their self, but the recruiters have to brand their self too. What do you think, John?
Yeah, well, the candidate works with the recruiter because of who the recruiter is. Regardless of where the recruiter is going to work or who they're going to work for, the relationship is with the recruiter. Ideally, that's what I've always believed in. So, if you've got a good recruiter, you establish your personal brand to be that person. And you're right, Richard, it's got to be authentic. It's got to be you. You can't be anyone else because that's who the candidate is going to endear themselves to. And if, not every personality meshes. I mean, I've worked with folks that say, hey, we're not really jiving. Can I work with one of your peers? Sure. Go ahead. That's okay. Personalities won't always gel. But when they do, that's where, you've got to be yourself and you establish yourself as here's how I work and here's what I do and here's why people want to work with me. And you're right. It's each recruiter has to have their own personal brand now more than ever. Because so much is on social and so much is out there that they have to, establish themselves. And so they might work for ABC company. That's great. The candidate isn't looking to establish a relationship with the company. They want a relationship with a recruiter at that company. And I think there's a big difference in there.
John, I don't let anybody not work with me. Everybody has to work with me. They don't get a word in edgewise. You have no option. They're like, shit.
That's what I was going to say too. Cause I mean, I'm like the only recruiter here. So it's me or nobody. So I got to be perky all the time.
It's right, like showtime. Right. It's showtime. As soon as you get on that phone, it's like you're Kenny Chesney or Jimmy Buffett. You're out there on stage and you just got to rock it out.
Well, what's interesting is as part of the personal brand, I think the recruiter has to establish how they're going to work and recognizing they can't be all things to all people. And sometimes the recruiter has to make that decision that, you know what, I don't think I'm the best recruiter for you, and here's why. And, you know, maybe the candidate's unreasonable, unflexible. Maybe they've got an attitude. Maybe they are, you know, looking for, you know, take it all and give you nothing or whatever. Sometimes as a recruiter, you've got to have the courage, just like on the client side, we've got to have the courage to walk away from job orders that don't make sense. It's okay to walk away from candidates that don't make sense either, because time is very valuable on both ends.
Right.
What a good recap.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Beth, real quick before we jump into some holiday fun.
Okay, well, I just wanted to say real quick on John's note, to piggyback on that. I just had a client, it's a higher ed institution, let me know that a candidate that I was going to run by them, but I sent them just their name. They already did their homework on this candidate, and they saved me time because they were like, no, no,
Wow.
we don't want you to go forward, you know. And I thought that was really a great thing that they did that, because typically they just wait, you know, until the resume comes in, until my presentation email comes, resume. And then, you know, that takes a lot of time because you're advocating for that candidate, right? You want that candidate to hopefully at least be considered, if not get the interview and the offer. But, you know, I just wanted to say that I appreciate clients like that. But I don't appreciate candidates that hide things or tell me or waste my time, basically, and their time, unfortunately. So, okay, I'm good. Let's have fun.
Woo! Johnny, are we ready? Okay, so here we go. I got some questions for all of you. I'm going to go last. First one is your favorite holiday movie. John, I already know what yours is. I'm going to bet $1 million. It's Eddie and Clark.
It's Christmas Vacation for sure. Yeah, can't get enough of it.
You got it.
That's a fun one, that's for sure.
Redhead Recruiter, what do you think?
Elf.
Ooh, good one. Beth, what do you think?
I'm going to have to say it's a tie between Elf and Griswold, because they're both funny, but I like Will Ferrell. I know a lot of people don't. I just really like his humor. And it's just a little funnier than Elf is just a little funnier, I think, than Clark was Griswold. But
no offense taken. That's perfectly fine.
No offense at all. And mine, hands down, is it's Family Vacation, of course. My God, half my family's like that, you know? Everybody has an Eddie. I swear, if you say no, you're lying.
Oh,
everybody has an Eddie in their family. Am I right?
Yes, totally.
I do love Eddie.
Can I say it one more time online? The shitter's full. I mean, that's to think
that's got to be the funniest
classic.
part. Yeah.
I mean, seriously? Really?
Funny.
Oh, great movies. And there were some good ones too. We had a poll out there. Die Hard was in there. There's, Ralphie still gets a lot. I think Ralphie's losing luster because it's 24 hours of Ralphie nonstop. I mean, for the last, 20 years? And it's like you turn on a station, Ralphie. It's like, it's getting overkill. But we gotta love Ralphie.
The memorable from that movie, you'll shoot your eye out, right?
There it is. Favorite holiday song.
We don't have to sing this, do we?
Well, I'm going to sing a little bit because I love singing and I suck at it, but it's all good. Go ahead, Redhead Recruiter, you're up on.
I like Silent Night.
Ooh.
Very peaceful, calming. It's a very good song. I like that one.
All right, Miss Beth Wood, what is it?
Oh, no.
Did she freeze?
Well,
can you hear
I have to give credit to my little granddaughter. She's 6. And when I was taking her to dancing the other night, she just all of a sudden blurted out from the back seat, "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree." And she knew every word of that song.
That's awesome.
And I have always liked that song, but it just rose it to a new level for me because she sang it. And I love that song. Yeah, that's probably my favorite.
Clark.
That's awesome.
What is
I'll throw 2 out there. I like Destiny. I am a big fan of Silent Night just because it's so calming, and it really embodies the spirit of the season. From a pop perspective, I'm not a huge fan of the artist, but I love the song, and it's the "All I Want for Christmas Is You."
Right.
It's just it's upbeat, it's happy. Again, I'm not a huge fan outside of that, but I love that song just because it's just so fun.
John, I sent that CD in the mail to you. You'll be getting it soon.
It's okay, Richard. It's the thought that counts.
Oh, there you go. And mine is.
What about you?
You ready for this one? You guys have to pick. What do you think come on. What song do you think I love?
Jingle Bell
Real
Rock.
quick.
Santa, or what is it? Grandma just got hit by a reindeer.
Oh,
That was a good guess, Beth. That was a good guess.
All right, here it is. I'll have a blue Christmas without the snapping shark. He'll bring me a job. He'll make me employed. I need the snapping shark in my life. There it is. Blue Christmas. Of course.
Wow.
Wow, Johnny.
I think you need to keep your day job, Richard.
Hey,
There
I
you
tried
go.
to get a hubba hubba, but I could not do it.
Little Elvis in the house.
Okay, our last one is our favorite cookie, holiday cookie. Let's go for it.
Ooh.
Redhead Recruiter, you're up.
Sugar cookie.
Mm.
I like the plain ones.
Do you like them a little burnt around the edges?
No.
Oh, okay. I like them a little burnt around the edges. I don't know. I'm weird that way. Sorry.
All right, Beth, what is the cookie of the day for you?
Well, I have to say rum balls. You ever had them?
I don't know. Wow.
You make real Bacardi rum. They're great. They have dates
It's
in
got
them.
alcohol in it. So we know Beth, any
Nuts
cookie that
and
you for Beth
sugar.
has alcohol in it.
Don't tell my secrets.
Uh,
Delicious. I only make them at Christmas time, so they're good.
Clark, what is yours?
My favorite cookie, and I only make them at Christmas time. They're known by different names. I call them Russian tea cakes. They're these balls with, I mean,
I know what you mean.
it's got chopped pecans in it.
Right,
It's
right?
butter. It's sugar. It's wonderful, and they're topped with confectionery sugar. It's they're my guilty pleasure at holiday time.
Oh, and mine is after that grandma got run over by a reindeer comment. Whew, I don't know if I can take it back, but it's peanut butter blossoms with the Hershey Kiss. You gotta love them.
I
Those are
make
great.
those too. Yeah.
Oh, they are bomb.
I make
Especially when they come out of the
everything that
oven.
we all
My
talk
mom used to
about.
always yell at me, "Them are for the guests," and I'm just like slamming in my mouth. They're so good. Oh my god. One final one before we wrap everything up here is the holiday cartoon. We got to throw the cartoon out there for holidays because we are kids at heart. Redhead Recruiter, favorite cartoon.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
I don't know if I have a favorite cartoon. I don't think I have one.
Really?
And I'm probably the youngest one here. I should have a cartoon, shouldn't I?
Hey,
I
come
don't
on
think
now.
I have a cartoon.
How does she know she's the youngest one?
I know, Beth. I'm saying, I just aged, I'm only 22.
Yeah, right.
Beth, I know you have a favorite cartoon.
Oh my gosh, this is going to age me. I guess I always liked Sylvester and Tweety Bird. I don't even know the name of that cartoon, but those were the two main characters when I was little. Now I don't really have one. I can't really say. Do you guys remember Sylvester and Tweety Bird?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was called Sylvester and Tweety Bird.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Okay, Clark, you're up.
Now, this is just cartoon in general, not holiday cartoon?
No, holiday cartoon.
Holiday cartoon.
Oh.
Because that makes it harder. If it's cartoon in general, I am a Bugs Bunny fan at heart. I love anything Bugs Bunny. Holiday cartoon. It's not really a cartoon, but I still like watching the claymation Rudolph.
Yes.
That's a big favorite of mine. I think that's pretty cool. So it's not really a cartoon, but it's kind of a cartoon.
Okay, so here we go. My all-time cartoon of all time is Scooby-Doo, and I had no clue what Scooby Snacks were until I was 20 years old. I'm thinking, what's Scooby Snacks? Really? Smoke coming on a mystery van? Wow. Is that marijuana, really? What a great cartoon. Oh, boy.
Oh, my
But
God.
my favorite of all time is, and I brought him, check this out.
Ah,
Well,
frosty action.
when he says, I'll come back on Christmas Day, oh, my God, is that the best line ever? So, wow. I'm excited. I'll be watching it tonight again. But before we wrap up, last thing I have to say is, this is a little surprise I got to show John. I know. Everybody's here online. We got to thank everybody for this. This is what our good old show did this year. 36.6 thousand watch minutes, John. Thank you so much, brother.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
I wanted to save this till today, man.
That's awesome.
This is just for our show here, man. And you see, 4,000, people viewed it. So I want to thank you as a brother, man. We hit 36,000 minutes. That's awesome.
Richard, it's been a really, really humbling first year, and really have enjoyed, working with you and doing this, and the support that we've gotten from the whole staffing and recruiting community has been phenomenal. So it's, thanks to everybody out there who's tuned in, who's been on the show, and who's contributed. It's been a labor of love. It's a lot of fun.
It is. And, I just want to thank every guest we had once again. We will give you shout outs. We just love everybody. Everybody's going to be on in 2022 with more guests. I'm so blessed to be with Clark Griswold and everybody else, and I'm glad the Redhead Recruiter got to enjoy some fun with us, and Beth. It's just, it's been one of them amazing years. I can say, wow. And if anything came out of 2021, it was Recruiters with No Limits going live. It makes my day every week when I do this behind the scenes. It takes me probably about an hour and a half every week to get this. John knows what I go through, and it's so much fun. I don't regret anything about it. But I want to thank everybody out there. Have a great holiday. We're going to leave you on a little note here of something that we put together, but we'll see you next year. What do you think? 2022.
Destiny, thanks for coming on today. Have a great holiday.
Thanks for having me. Happy holidays, everyone.
Take care, everybody.